Good morning, Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of exit 7 on Interstate 89. Big picture, we have this storm system that's in the process of developing here. It's going to be taking a track with an area of low pressure, more or less cutting inland, and it's making it very complex for mixed precipitation types evolving after a shot of snow. The amounts of snow look like they're going to be somewhere between 2 and maybe as much as 6 inches. Somewhere in that range, especially eastern parts of Vermont and especially the Northeast Kingdom may get a little bit more shadowing effect, and that may shift the heavier amounts of snow into parts of southern Vermont and points west, and maybe even a little bit more toward the Champlain Valley. You can see where current conditions are showing a lot of snow right now, and then on the southern and eastern side, a lot of rain, so we have a lot of warm air injecting into the system. This is going to be taking a track and then working up basically through the Appalachians and then into parts of eastern New England. The area of low pressure may track either right over Vermont or maybe just a little bit to the right of that through parts of New Hampshire. To get all snow, pristine snow, we'd have to see a track a little bit more to the east and lock in the jackpot snows into our neck of the woods. Right now it looks like that's a little more of a shift into parts of New York State, and I think we're going to miss out on the jackpot snows and get a little bit of a mix, especially as the storm evolves, and that'll take place through the afternoon hours and into the evening hours on Monday before the return of the colder air aloft works in. But this is going to be a very wound-up weather system, and the fact that we have high-velocity winds and flows, mostly out of the east, is going to be pulling in a lot of warmth off the oceans. Their sea surface temperatures are a little bit above normal. You can add that in, so that combination is going to create probably a medium dry snow to start, and then medium, and then turning more of a kind of wetter snowfall in its evolution before it mixes over and changes over to periods of some sleet, a little bit of freezing rain, and maybe even a little bit of rain, and then back to snow as the colder air begins to get introduced on that western side. So we have the European at a 10th degree, initialized, this is at 06Z, so overnight models, and then the GFS at 2.5, so a little bit less resolution, but still does the job. This is our storm system. This is valid at about 7 o'clock on Sunday evening, and it's going to be working in during the overnight period into Monday morning. The GFS showing the arrival pretty close to what we're seeing with the European. The models have been locked in fairly good agreement, except that they're a little bit too hot on the snowfall, and we'll get to the NAM model and show you the little bit of a difference here. But there is some precipitation that is starting to already change according to the GFS model, and it might be actually a little bit better based on what I'm seeing from this morning. The European's trying to capture a little bit of sleet here, but this is some pretty good snowfall that we're going to see rain in the I-95 corridor. And this is valid now at about 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday. That's 18Z, that'd be 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And you can see 978 area of low pressure from 981, so it's intensifying. And these winds will be very strong and interact, of course, with the southern greens, maybe the central greens. So areas around Rutland County, those western slopes, especially Minden Mountain, closest to Rutland City, and then back down the Route 7 corridor could be affected. However, this is taking place also in conjunction with the heaviest precipitation as it rolls north. And what ends up happening is you can see that it's changed over to rain in southern parts of Vermont toward Brattleboro, valid by 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then much lighter snowfall, but potentially some kind of a mixed deal. 975, 973 area of low pressure, so pretty decent model agreement here. It's going to move, instead of northeast, it's going to move more northerly, and herein lies the problem. It looks like we lull out during the early to mid-evening hours, and then we're starting to see maybe potentially a little bit of an upslope component captured here in some of the resolution. And by the time we get into, of course, overnight and into Tuesday morning, we're looking at just a few leftover flurries and minor snow showers at that point in time. Here we're going to look at the wind velocities, and we'll take it up through, this would be 8 o'clock in the 08Z in the morning on Monday. That would be about 4 o'clock in the morning, or 3 o'clock in the morning. We're starting to see a little bit of an uptick here. And with the GFS model, not as good here, and it's less resolution. So we're seeing 51 knots projected at Bennington, 49 with the European model, 45 mile per hour wind gusts projected at Rutland by 4 in the morning. So keeping that going here, it looks like the winds do max out in the mid to late morning hours. This is valid at about 10 o'clock. And we're starting to see those winds reduced, at least with the European. That's been fairly consistent, and it looks like the strongest winds will be shifting more into New Hampshire. This is a little bit of a lesser resolution, so not really trusting the GFS there. I wouldn't worry about this at this point in time, as by that point it does look like we're going to see much calmer conditions. Okay, using the NAM model here, taking a look at the arrival time, getting into the Bennington region. This is about 05Z, and that's about midnight or so. So that's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3, 4. So 4 o'clock in the morning, Barre Montpelier area, not quite into the kingdom all the way until around 10Z. That would be about 6 o'clock in the morning, 5 in the morning. And then that's 6, and that's 7. Now you can already see that we're starting to mix in quite a bit of liquid precipitation types, and also some sleet, some freezing rain. The NAM model has been very consistent on bringing in warmer temperatures off the ocean with this high-speed flow around this area of low pressure. And the fact that the area of low pressure is further inland complicates this situation, not being off the coast. So that's what the NAM is starting to think, kind of a lull in the afternoon. This is valid about 1 o'clock. And then by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so forth, we're looking at kind of a little bit of an upslope with drier conditions, but still some gusty winds on the backside of this 973 hectopascal surface low. So if this area of low pressure attract a little bit more along the coast, that would be one thing, but instead it's tracking pretty far inland, and then it does this little bit of a jump like this, and it makes it a little bit more complex with this particular situation. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights, thanks for watching.